Hey everyone, in this video we're going to learn about Lambda functions in Python. So what is a Lambda function? A Lambda function is an anonymous one-line function using the Lambda keyword. It can take multiple parameters. So this is the Lambda keyword and this is the parameters. So meaning it can take or we can define multiple parameters but must contain only one expression. So we can only define one expression. Okay, so let's look at an example. So simple addition using Lambda. Just get into the IPython interpreter. So here, so this is the Lambda keyword, and this is a parameter, and we have a comma here, space, and another parameter, and colon, and space. And the x's here are basically the same, and the y's are the same also. So that's why when we call the Lambda function or the variable, so we are assigning this Lambda function into a variable called add. So we are using the add variable and we are passing in numbers here. So 5, this will be assigned to, this is the argument, by the way, this will be assigned to x, and 3, this will be assigned to argument y. So if I copy and paste this, the expected result is 8. And this is the equivalent regular function without using Lambda. So we are using the keyword def, right? And the name of the function is add. And we got 2 arguments, x and y, colon, and we are returning the result to the function called add. Let me go ahead and copy and paste this line of code. So if I call the function and pass in the arguments 5 and 3, this will give us 8. Okay, so that's a simple addition using Lambda. Okay, now let's look at examples that are related to networking. So here, example number 2, we are extracting the last octet of an IP address. So this Lambda function splits the IP address by period and returns the last octet. So in this example, this is the Lambda keyword and this is the parameter, colon, space, and this is the expression. So we are just splitting the IP address using the period and we are accessing the last octet. That's why we are using -1. Let me just go ahead and copy and paste this line of code. Okay, now if we call the Lambda function or this variable here and pass in a IP address, which is this IP address, so the expected output should be 100. And here, the expected output should be 5. Okay, and I believe the split here is a string method, and I think we can verify this by, let me just check, x hello and then dir. So yeah, so it's a string method, and then when the characters become a list, so that's why we are using this, and I think we can verify this. So ip and then actually use this. If we don't use the -1, we get the whole list. But in this case, we are just getting the last octet. That's why we get 105. Okay, so let's look at example number 3. So example number 3, checking if an IP address is in a private range. This Lambda function returns true if the IP belongs to a private range. We are just basically checking if an IP address is in a private range or not. So let me go ahead and copy and paste this line of code. We are assigning the Lambda function to a variable called is private IP. So, and we are passing in an IP address here. So this IP address should be true. I mean, the output should be true because it starts with these octets, 192.168, but this one should not be in a private range. Yeah, false. Let's look at the last example. So we're checking if a port is open here, and the Lambda function returns open if the port number is in the allowed list, otherwise closed. Okay, let me go ahead and copy and paste this line of code. So this is the Lambda keyword, the parameter, colon, and this is the expression. So we are basically saying that if the port is one of these, return open, and otherwise return close. So in this case, port 22 is in the list, in this list. So they should return open. And this one here, port 8080, it's not in the list, so it will return closed. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to cover in this video. So again, the Lambda function is an anonymous one-line function using the Lambda keyword. And this is the syntax. So Lambda space parameters. And again, we can define multiple parameters, colon, space, and we can only define one expression. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover in this video. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.